Mm-hmm. Whew. Mm-hmm. Yep. What are the... Encourage more viewers to share. Hi, Hope Smith. We're talking about white America today, being a cult if you are a white American. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. That is what I'm going to start off the conversation with, because if you are white America and you are, hey Brooklyn, we're talking about white America being a cult today. And if you are a white American, I really just want to, let it be. If it don't apply, let it fly. That is the theme of today's messaging, because we're going to talk about how white America is a cult. But if it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. Don't feel the need to say, but what about me? And I'm not a cult member, because you probably are. So that's where we're starting. Let's look up the definition of a cult. Hi, white America is a cult. Prove me wrong. That's the theme of today's discussion. I made that post recently about blonde hair being a part of white supremacy, and the cult of blondness came, and it struck hard. So that's why I'm like, after that, it made me really realize how far we are from dismantling. Hi, Chan. Hi, it's not Zendaya. The recent post that I made saying that if you dye your hair blonde, you're supporting white supremacy. And the vitriol that I got from all the people who were saying, first of all, they were like, I'm natural blonde, so that means I'm not, like, what do you say about me? Am I supporting white supremacy just from being born? I'm like, no one said you were supporting white supremacy just from being born blonde. First of all, a lot of you guys are born blonde. You don't stay blonde, but you dye your hair back blonde, and that's a part of the problem. You feel this need to stay in this youthful state, which we're not going to talk about that, how that supports PDF files, but that is. Anyways, but all the women, I got 4,000 comments on that video, y'all, of white women saying, they're not ready to unpack it. They are afraid to unpack it. Like, when I say the fear, the vitriol is the word that comes to mind. I'll never forget that. I've made posts about Trump. I've had whole arguments with MAGA in my comment sections about Trump, y'all. But but the moment I said blonde hair is supporting white supremacy, it was just like, I had never gotten such a reaction. And my thing is, it's like, and if there are any white people on the line, please just let me know. I don't understand. Like, we all learned about World War II, right? And we learned about the mustache man and what he did and what he stood for and what he liked and what he enjoyed. The blonde hair, the blue eyes. Like, we all learned that, right? I read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Fantastic book. Super sad. The Diary of Anne Frank. So we learned that, and we know the connection there, right? But whenever I talk about it in real life in 2025, they're just like, what? No, blonde hair, white supremacy? No way. No way. Never heard of it. You're crazy. That's nuts. What are you talking about? How dare you even associate the two? Because blonde hair and white supremacy, they don't even live in the same neighborhood, you guys. They're not related. There's no coordination, nothing there. There's nothing there, nothing to be seen. And I'm just like, nothing? Y'all, like, did you not take world history? I took it, and there was a man, and he had a funny mustache, and he said there was a big connection. So, I'm just like, why are they now saying that there is zero connection? There's no connection at all whatsoever between blonde hair and white supremacy. Like, that is what all 4,000 comments said. I'm finna make a vid just to flex my new haircut. Okay, is it a blonde haircut? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, good. Tag me. But yeah, so I'm just like, I don't understand why they're all acting like they have never ever in their lives heard of blonde hair and white supremacy being a connected thing. And here's how I know it's a cult is whenever I say, okay, I get that, because their excuses, I just dyed my hair blonde because I like it. And I'm just like, all right, but I'm like, my question is just like, why do you like it? Have you ever thought about why you like it? Where is this preference coming from? And then they're like, no, there's no, y'all, I cut my hair recently, so now this one piece of hair just does not want to lay because it's short. But they're like, why? They're like, what is this? What was I saying? Got distracted by my own hair. Yes, white supremacy is a cult. Blonde hair, connected, Hitler. Ask them, why do they like it? Why do you like blonde hair? Why is that your preference? Why do you feel like whiter hair is prettier? Lighter hair is better? Like, okay, I get it's your preference, but like, why is it your preference? And they have nothing for me. They're just like, just because it is. And I'm just like, so today I was reading, no, I don't support the Kirk clan. Good, great. Oh, hi, Ken and Kemet, how are you? And so I was looking at today, there was you know how everyone says that the United States is on a sixth grade reading level, like 60% of the United States is on a sixth grade reading level. And someone really broke down the difference between the sixth grade reading level and the seventh grade reading level. And the sixth grade was basically like, I can read this passage and pull out one piece of evidence that supports my argument for what the theme of this passage is. And then seventh grade was, I can read this article, point out several pieces of evidence that show what this passage is talking about, and I can articulate why the setting of this passage is how it's impacting the characters, right? And then I can also kind of track how the theme changes over time. And so all of that goes into seventh grade, but sixth grade, it is just I can pick out a theme and I can pick out one piece of supporting evidence. And I'm like, when I saw that, I was just like, wow, that is all of MAGA for sure. And then like a whole bunch of white America is, I know that I like blonde hair and I think blonde hair is pretty. Like that is your that is your argument and your supporting evidence. It's like that's it. But they can't think of, where did it come from? How does the setting that you live in influence and impact the way that you think and your belief systems? How is the group dynamics that you're in influencing your opinion? Like they can't even fathom none of that. And that is what is a cult. Because influencing your opinion, like they can't even fathom none of that. And that is what is a cult. Because when you're in a cult, you never know you're in a cult. I remember feeling guilty for being blonde and blue-eyed as a little girl. It's all in your ... twisted. Right. Okay. All right. So here, you should never feel guilty for being who you are. Like that is what I feel like the biggest misconception that I have out of the white community is like that you should never feel bad for being who you are naturally. That is what I want for everybody on God's green earth. Is like, however whatever color your skin is, whatever color your eyes are, whatever color your hair is, like however it comes out of your body naturally as you are, without any artificial additions or altercations or changes. That is the most beautiful you can ever be. And that's what I want. I want everyone to feel so confident in just being who they are naturally. But so if you have naturally blonde hair and naturally blue eyes, like love that. Be like, shout out to you, queen. But my issue, if you want to call it an issue, it's not even an issue that I have. It's just like the thing I'm trying to just point out is, if you do not feel comfortable in your skin, if you do not feel like you are the bee's fudging knees in the skin that you are born with, and the hair that you're born with, and the eyes that you are born with, why? Like that, that's what I'm saying, is why? Because that is not natural. It is unnatural for you to dislike yourself as a natural person. Like, do you see my dog? Where my dog at? My dog is not walking around saying, oh my God, my fur is not curly as this other dog's. My dog is not walking around saying, oh my gosh, my fur is not long enough, or my fur is not, the other dog is black and I'm brown, or this other dog is brown and I'm white. other animals do not care. That they don't care. Like, it doesn't, like, who you are is who you are. That does not matter. What matters is how you interact with other folks, or other species. Like, what do you contribute, your actions, like your character, like, you know, all the good stuff that comes from inside of you. But your external, like, presentation to the world, like, that, it literally just does not matter. It does not matter. Like, it matters in the sense of, like, you know, I guess, like, mating, and when you want to attract a mate, because, you know, in the animal kingdom, like, you know, a peacock is going to, you know, going to flaunt its feathers, but, like, a peacock's going to flaunt its feather, but if it flaunts its feather in front of a girl peacock, and the girl peacock is like, I don't really like your feathers, it's not going to go, let me go change my feathers. It's going to go, okay, let me go see if I can flaunt my feathers in front of another lady peacock and see if she'll like me. Like, that's it. The mentality of an animal is not, let me change my feathers. Like, that is, like, people don't understand how, like, that is so, like, that's such an unnatural way to think about yourself. It's like, look at yourself and say, I am not good enough the way I am, and so I need to change myself to meet some standard that I don't know where it came from. That's my problem. What did you say? I got 29 on my ACT reading in high school. Excellent. I don't remember my ACT scores or my SAT scores, but I remember they were good. My hair is darker now, but I'm not comfortable in my skin. So Twisted Stitcher, why aren't you comfortable in your skin? You really got to sit and think about that. You got to be like, why? And it takes time. I'm not going to say it happens overnight. Like, the fact that I can get on here with my natural hair, catch me circa 10, 11 years ago, you would not have caught me on any sort of public platform in my natural hair. I would have been like, absolutely not. Like, it's like, even with my natural hair, I used to like have to, you know, do my edges, like make sure I had to have some sort of sleek and smoothness about my hair, or I felt uncomfortable. And I had to sit with that and reckon with that and figure out, why do I feel uncomfortable with just the hair that grows out of my head? It's just like, it's not fair. That was another thing. It's just like, it's not fair that white people get to wake up, brush their hair, and walk out the door and they're beautiful. I like that is not, like, it's unfair that is the case for one species, like, type of person, and then the other person, if you have to wake up, you got to twist your hair, you got to brush your hair, you got to braid your hair, you got to do all this stuff in order to be acceptable walking outside. Like, and when I had that realization, I was like, that's some BS. I was like, ain't that some BS? That is some BS, and I will no longer, I'm not going to accept that mentality out of myself or others. Like, I'm not going to accept that out of anyone around me. Well, I can't, like, again, I'm only one person. I can't change the world. You know, hopefully I can, maybe one day. But it's like, all I can do is spread awareness about why is it that, like, I had this revelation, and I just want other people to have that revelation of, like, why is it that you feel like you cannot wake up, walk outside, and be beautiful? It's just like, okay, so what else do we see? Gen X, white Gen Xers and boomers will literally look you in your face and say, oh, for sure. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've witnessed it. Old white people, they love them some blonde hair. They love them some blonde hair. And again, they don't know why they love themselves some blonde hair. And I feel like it might be rooted in some sort of young trauma that happened to them, or something, or like, I don't know, because I know my mom, right? She used to perm my hair every month. She would go in and make sure I had this chemical in my hair to make sure my hair was straight, like bone straight. And so it's like the way she grew up, you had to have straight hair to be beautiful. You had to have straight hair to, be able to find a mate. You had to have straight hair to be, a successful person. Even in this day and age, because people don't think about their internal biases, which is where this cultness comes in. A lot of white people will still look at a black person and have like these underlying feelings that they don't know, because they're not feelings like white. Here's the thing: white people and cults in general, they just feel like everything that is and they don't feel like there's nothing else. Like, and this is like a white culture, I think, an American thing in general, is that if you can't see it, then it doesn't exist. And that is like the weirdest, wrongest, strangest, unnaturalist thing in the world. Because just because you can't see something, that does not mean it doesn't exist. And so people feel like, because I can't see my bigotry, my racism, my biased opinions, like in the top of my brain, like I'm not actively choosing, I don't like black people, or I think curly hair is ugly, or I think dark hair is ugly, because I'm not making those active decisions on I call them my first layer of thoughts. Your first layer of thoughts are your they're the ones you have access to very easily, like the things that are on the top of your mind. And then your second layer is like when you sit and you think, and things are quiet and you start asking yourself questions, you get to your second layer of thoughts. And then your third layer of thoughts, those are your dark thoughts. They're not dark, but like those are the ones that one, it takes a very long time to access them. They're like deep in your subconscious. And then two, you might not want to give those out. You might not, even if you tap into those, those are the ones only you and your therapist, but sometimes even only you and God can know about your third layer of thoughts. But yeah, I feel like white people, they have this culture in general of, if you cannot see it, it doesn't exist. And so that goes into this cult-like mentality of like, if you cannot see that I have biased thoughts, then I'm not racist. It's just like, no, just because you can't see your racist thoughts, that doesn't mean you don't have racist thoughts. You just don't know it because you can't see it, but you can't see it because you don't want to, you don't try, you don't dig, you don't feel like there's nothing there, there's nothing to look for. Okay, so anyways, now I'm like, why did you like how I looked best when I was 6? Yeah, nah, grandparents are weird. White grandparents especially. And then another thing about old white people is they're always racist, but whenever old white men have dementia, they are the most bigoted people in the world. And that's what I'm like, that is their subconscious coming out when they have no other way to like suppress their bigotry. And it's just like your brain is like loose, or you're drunk essentially, and you don't have that cognitive control. Old white people, they just let their racism rip. And so I'm just like, so when I'm like sitting there looking at young white people and I hear them make bigoted statements like, I'm glad you're not like those other black people. And it's just like, when white people say stuff like that, they don't realize how racist that is. I mean, that means you believe that most or all black people are like something undesirable, but you have one black friend who you interact with that you feel like acts in a desirable way. Like when white people say stuff like that, they don't realize, like, they don't understand what they're saying. Like, that's racist. Okay. that's it. I love Africans, literally going to Africa. Yes, I cannot wait to go to Africa. That is my dream. God is everyone's true identity. Everyone needs to repent and come back to Christ. See, okay, let's talk about religion. We can talk about how religion is a part of the cult-like mentality. Because the thing is about being in a cult, one, you don't know you're in a cult because they have slowly molded your mind. The way you get into a cult, as someone who was certainly in a cult before, is they draw you in with like good things, beautiful things, fun things, loving things. They're like, we're community, we're really super nice. Like, it's like a cult is it is a narcissist, but it is like a narcissist as a group. So like there's still like the same cycles. There's love bombing, and they're always really super nice. And they offer you all this stuff, and you come in super like, they drag you in just so slow, and it's just like bit by bit by bit by bit. And then by the time you realize things are kind of weird here, you've been entrenched in this cult-like community for 3 years, and you have no other friends because they've isolated you from everyone. And if you try to leave now, you don't know where to go, who to turn to, or what to do. And so religion is the same way. Like, that is what religion is. It's like you come into this group. It is this close-knitted group, this like, I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about a system. There's like an open systems and closed systems, and open systems are like closed systems. Like you have inputs, like the inputs and the outputs are like, there's no external inputs. Like the inputs and the outputs in a closed system it's a closed system, but then an external, like an open system, like you get inputs from like outside of the system. Religions are closed systems. Groups, cults are closed systems. Once you are in that system, like they do not allow you to have external thoughts. Like when you're with a narcissist, they don't allow you to have friends that they don't approve of because they can't control the flow of information. They can't, when you're in a closed system, and i.e. a cult or i.e. a religious group, they don't allow you to look at other religious teachings. They don't want you to, because then it might chisel away at the cult mentality, and they don't want that. They don't want you to have question. They don't want you to question things. They don't want you to question the beliefs. Like, and so that's what happens with white people. Like they don't your white people don't question enough. They don't question enough. They don't question nothing. They just accept everything as it is, and if it is, that is it is. There's nothing to see here. And I'm just like, if white people would just start questioning things a little bit more, you'd get a lot further. You slid B Canary from HIX Halloween. I don't know what that means. The white privilege is definitely white privileging when it comes to their hair beauty standards, for sure, 100%. And like, it's just like, I was just talking to this one white lady, and she was saying, oh, but like beauty standards change all the time. So like, yeah, like blonde hair might be in right now, but like BBLs were in a little while ago and now they're not. And I was just like, see, I'm like, as a white person, you can't even see the bigger picture. Like, white people they're so in the cult that they can only see what's in the, like, which is what a cult is. It doesn't allow you to see anything outside the cult. So she's like, BBLs are in and they'll be out. And I'm just like, in the black community, right? Having a big derriere was not a trend. Like, I guess having like BBLs, I guess, is kind of like trendy-ish, but it is an extension of a cultural phenomenon, like the culture of big booties in the black community. Black people love big booties. Like, it's just like, that is the culture. And so it kind of got accentuated with the BBLs. But for white people, it was like, oh, we like flat butts. Now we like big butts. Now we like little butts. Like, what's skinny? We was like they felt like they chomp on people's cultures, and then they take it and then they use it and then they extract value from it and then they throw it away when they're done. Like, that's white culture, is taking stuff, extract value, throw it away. Take something, extract value, throw it away. Like, that is like, ew. As I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, it is so, as a naturist, as a natural naturist person, like, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle. Like, Mother Nature is all about like using things and then recycling it and using it and recycling it. Like, Mother Nature doesn't throw anything away. It doesn't waste anything. But white culture is so wasteful. It is so wasteful. It is like waste. It is like all it does is extract value and throw it away for anything. That's people. That's your body. That's spirituality. That's a trend. That's fashion. It's clothes. It's materials. It's like land. It's just like literally land. They will extract all the value they can by planting as much as they can into the soil and like plant the same plants over and over again if the plants are the most like profitable. And then once the land is literally stripped of all of the nutrients it has, it'll just, okay, like, let's just throw that land away and just move on somewhere else and, you know, it'll figure itself out. I'm just like, God is so wasteful. It is so, white people are so wasteful. White people are the most wasteful people in the world. But that's a tangent. But back to the thing. She was saying that blonde hair like basically is a trend right now. And I'm just like, no, girlfriend. even though blonde hair might be like, that's the thing. Like, just why? First of all, why is it a trend right now? It is because conservative culture in America is quote unquote trending. And why is it conservative culture trending? It's because we're moving into an authoritative dictatorship like land of being, and that comes with this conservative mentality because conservative mentality has a high control element. High control is cult. But that high control element is like, and that's where religion comes in, because religion is a high control situation. It's a high control mechanism. It's a way that people control your minds, is by saying, here's this religion that you have to follow. And what is a religion? Nothing but like a list of rules on how you should act, how you should move, how you should dress, how you should think. Like, they just put religion on top of it and say it's from God so it doesn't look like a person is telling you. It's this mysterious being in the world that I have no control over. Yeah, write that down. Who said that? God. God said that. Like, it wasn't me. What? No, it wasn't me. We silly. I'm just repeating what God told me, of course. Like, what? Anyway, so yeah, high control. And so that's coming with blonde hair. Because dictators love putting, and narcissists do this too. And they do this with narcissist parents. They do this very well with their children, which is disgusting. But they will put narcissists will always create a hierarchy. Whenever there's a high control environment, there's always going to be a hierarchy, because they want you, it keeps everyone in place. Because if everyone, okay, here we go. If you have narcissists and or all the people who are in control, there's not that many of them. There's never going to be that many of them. It's always going to be a little bit. But how they create control is if you put everyone equal and everyone feels like they're the same, then it's all of them versus you. But the moment you can split them up, right, divide and conquer, and say, like, I pick some of you guys, you're on top of them, so you govern and police them. And then if you do what I tell you to do, because I can govern, like, you know, we're only 10 crazy narcissists at the top, but if we can give like rank to 100 people below us and tell those 100 people will take care of you if you control the 1,000 people beneath you. Those 100 people are going to do whatever they can to keep their space in the hierarchy because they don't want to drop down below to that 1,000 rank, right? And then the people at the top, the 10 people at the top, they'll pretend like you have a chance at becoming one of the 10 people, although you never freaking have a chance in HE and double hockey sticks. But they keep on, they future fake you. They give you that dream that one day you too can be a billionaire. One day you too can control the world. You just got to do what I tell you to do and we'll let you into our exclusive club. But they're never going to let you in. They never plan to let you in. They're just doing it so they can use you to govern the people at the below them. And then those 1,000 people, the 100 people, they'll tell you like, hey, you got to do what I say. Because again, upper management is telling them to do what you say. And then 1,000 people is just like, hey, but you'll be one of us 100 in the future if you just do what we say, and oppress. So like, and then it keeps going. So that is how a very tiny little people at the top can control millions of people because they assign people rankings of hierarchy. Like hierarchies are always going to be there if there is a system of control, because it's the only way that a small amount of people can control a bunch of other people is if they can get everyone beneath them to control someone else beneath them like that. Like it's a pyramid scheme. America is a pyramid scheme. Capitalism is a pyramid scheme. Racism is a pyramid scheme. The patriarchy is a pyramid scheme. All of it is a pyramid scheme, and we're all falling for it. I'm not falling for it, but white people, you guys are that second tier. It's like the billionaire white class, billionaire regular class, like billionaire anyone else, the Saudi Arabian folks. Then you got your million. It's just like the class system through money is there, and it's just there to keep us all in line. And it's just like, but white people are falling for it hook, line, and sinker because they're just like, every single time they're like, okay, white people, if you don't want to be like those blacks over there, you just got to do this, pay these HOA fees, pay these school tuition so the blacks won't be inside the schools with you, pay for healthcare and so the blacks won't be in the same hospitals as you. Like every time there's black people who are rising in some way in order to have white people feel secure in their whiteness and their space in their ranking of hierarchy, they just threaten white people with black people or threaten white people and say like, these black people are moving into your neighborhood. That's where we get white flight from. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I haven't been looking at my comments. On a roll. Yeah, I am on a roll. I'm sorry. This is why I haven't been looking at my comments. If Christianity and Jesus happened now, people would say it's a cult. If Christianity and Jesus happened now, people would say it's a cult. It is a cult. And if you mean Jesus came over right now, Jesus would be very disappointed. He would be very disappointed. A lot of people misrepresent him, sad, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, listen, Jesus was real. He was a good dude. And I always shout out to Jesus. Just shout out to Jesus. He tried his best. But they did exactly what he told them not to do, which was created a religion so that they can further control the people. Christianity was literally made from Jesus after he came, and he was like, I don't like religion because religion is bad for you. It's and then everything else they said, I'm like, I don't feel like he said that, but yeah. So today I just found you today and you have. Oh, thank you, Lauren. I do feel like I have a good noodle. I have a good noodle up here, and I want to share my noodle with other people, and I just want to show people because problem is as a black woman, right? I have all of these systems of oppression on top of me, right? The patriarchy, racism, classism, capitalism, and I live in America. I have all these intersectionalities that I'm dealing with, and so I can just see all these stuff. But then I'm just I see the people who are above me in power, white people, that's you, and they just don't see their it's either. Here's the thing. I want to say I love to give people the benefit of the doubt and say that they don't see their hierarchies of power and they don't see where they are. Because again, with this whole blonde thing, I'm just can you not see that all the Republicans women are blonde? You don't see that all the Republican women are blonde? You don't see that? You just think it's a coincidence? You just think but you do. but you'll say that MAGA is racist. You realize MAGA is racist. You feel like there's some racism going on over there, and you feel like all the MAGA people, all the MAGA white women are aligned, but you feel like none of that is correlated. You feel like that has like just a coincidence. Okay, so I wanna half of me is like I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but then the other half of me, I was listening to this white man interview the other day. He was like this like super smart PhD like politician, economist, whatever he is, and he was like, yeah, I voted for Trump. And the interview was like this like young Asian kid. He was like, why would you vote for Trump? You're so smart. And he was like, I know that Trump is dumb. I know that he doesn't have good policies, but you know what else? I know that he will do everything to help the white race, and I am a white man. And I was just like, well, at least he said it. At least he said it. And that reminds me of the Hannah Brown situation. I don't know if y'all saw Hannah Brown, but she's like this like restaurateur person, and she was at the MAGA rally. And it's the same thing. It's just like, that's the thing. It's just like white people, even though white people don't want to be racist, even though white people, they are afraid to say that they're MAGA because they understand the moral implications from being MAGA. But at the end of the day, if you are a white person and you benefit from white supremacy, you're not going to hate white supremacy. Like you should, and you can, and you might. Some of you might. But in general, like if it's defeat white supremacy and, you know, probably be okay, or help out minorities and possibly not, maybe not be okay. It's like, you know, it's like, cause you know, and we contend with this every day as like cause like I do this, like when I'm at work, I'm like, I don't want to wear a straight hair wig, or I don't want to wear like a straight hair bust down. Like I don't want to do all this stuff to like, to appease the biases that a lot of white Americans have at my job. But I'll do it because to appease the biases that a lot of white Americans have at my job. But I'll do it because sorry, so I was getting a phone call. Can you guys hear me okay? It's helping them, or at least hurting everyone else, and they're okay with it. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like a lot of white people are smart. They they get it, but they're just like, if it's me or them, I'm gonna pick me. It's just like a lot of white people are smart. They get it, but they're just like, if it's me or them, I'm gonna pick me. It might be important, but oh well. They think that's the thing. It's like they think that it's self-preservation, but they don't understand that it is like that they're hurting themselves. As long as you allow the hierarchy of oppression, this pyramid scheme, as long as you allow the pyramid scheme to keep pyramid scheming, as long as you keep playing your part and being the authoritative figure over top of the people below you in this ranking system, you are supporting the ranking system. And as long as that ranking system is there, we will never all be free. We will never all be equal. Have what we need to have. I just gotta know. Sorry, thanks for your patience. I knew that was my son. I was like, no one calls me 3 times in a row, unless it's my kid. He left his key, so he wants me to let him in. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, no, maybe, kinda. Yes. Okay, great. Wonderful. All right. And we're back. So yes. So I was saying white people, they are not okay with racism a lot of times, and they don't necessarily want racism, but they're okay with racism as long as it means that they will benefit in some way. So they know that Trump is stupid. They know he sucks, but like if they vote Trump, and that means getting rid of the immigrants, that means suppressing black people, that means hurting all other minorities and uplifting the whiteness. They were like, I would prefer it not to be. Like, they would be like, if I could lift myself up and not oppress the minorities, I would. But if it's lift myself up and oppress minorities, or don't lift myself up and not oppress the minorities, I'm gonna just lift myself up, and I'm so sorry. And I was saying, like, I don't want to blame them, because every time I straighten my hair for the game, or every time I, like, I don't know, do my makeup for the game, because, like, it's just like even as, like, a TikTok creator, you see the difference in your views and your engagement when you look good on camera versus when you don't look good on camera. Like, today I'm like regular, and I'm like, and this is like medium to low engagement. But when I have my eyebrows done, when I have on a cute outfit and I'm coming out here and I'm saying the same stuff, people will come on, they will see me, and they'll be like, let me stay and listen, let me stay and watch. And so it's like, oh, you said you still can't hear? Oh no, I don't know how to fix that. Yep, nope. Oh, I wonder if I change my video, mute, unmute. Ooh, I can pause, cancel, just swipe off and come back. Okay, my bad, it's working. All right, great, we're good. Okay. Oh, I mirrored myself. Okay, let me not have that. I hate that. That's awful. Okay, is this back? Okay, it's back. All right, yeah. So I was saying, yeah, I play the game too. And I know by playing the game, I am also feeding the monster. And so I'm just like, but my problem is, it's like, I have limits. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of minorities have limits. Like, we will play the game we will go as far as we can right before it hurts someone else, like dramatically, or like it impacts someone in like a big way. Like, we would never like vote for, well, that's the thing though, because even when it comes to Kamala, and y'all hear me out, honey, you look gorgeous. We live in a weird world. Thank you. Thank you. So one, I know I look gorgeous. I wouldn't come on this camera if I didn't feel beautiful being just who I was. But that doesn't mean I can't, I don't see, and like, I don't see, that doesn't mean that I don't see the influence that if that, like, appealing to the patriarchy versus not appealing to the patriarchy, I can see the effect that it has. And I literally will like sit here and try to fight it, but we are incentivized. They literally incentivize us. They push us to play the game. They want to, like, every time you play the game, you get a reward. Every time you play, you get a reward. And so it's like, it's so hard to not play, because it's just like, if I don't play, it's like you don't get a reward, and not getting a reward in a system that is rewarding everyone else who's playing, it feels like punishment. It feels like I am being punished for not playing because everyone else is playing and they're getting ahead of me. And so you feel like you're getting left behind, which feels like a punishment. So I'm just like, I have to, but here's like how I've solved that is just essentially I've started to live in a life of what will be, what is for me will be for me. And that helps me ground myself in, I don't have to do these things, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's going to happen for me, it's going to happen for me. If it's not, it's not. And like, that's that. And that's that. So I'm going to just do what my heart is telling me to do. And if it works out, that's great. If it don't work out, that's fine. You have to stop caring about getting that cookie reward. Exactly. That's woo! That's how they've trained us. That is exactly how they've trained us. I talk about that. Okay, all right, y'all. Because when I talk about the 7 levels of awareness, and level 1 is like instinctual. It's like you're a baby, you just woke up. You're not even aware that you're aware. Like, you're just alive. You're just breathing. You're just like going off of like your body's instincts. And level 2 is like you're in that social awareness. And I tell people, white people are in level 2, because it's like you're not aware of your subconscious thoughts. You're not aware of how the world around you is impacting you or influencing you. And I say, this is where animals live. This is how we can train. And I literally say, this is how you can train animals when you're in that second level of consciousness awareness. Is because like animals, they don't realize the social impact of like where they are, or who, like us training them. Like they just know when they do this thing, they get a treat. They just know that when they do that thing, they get put in their cage, they get a punishment. They don't understand where these rules are coming from, why they are. They just know, if I do what this person thing is telling me to do, then I get a food. Like, that is literally, animals are level 2. And that this, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly where we are. We are in a place where they reward people who feed into the system. And that's why, and white people they get the best rewards. They get the most rewards when they feed into the system because they're at the highest ranking. So it's just like, it's like when you're playing a video game and you level up. Whenever you beat a monster at the highest level, you get more like XP and more rewards than when you beat the monsters at the lowest level. So, but the thing is, but black people or people, minorities, people of color, we're stuck at these lower levels. Like we can get money. Like there are certain things that, you know, can help us fluctuate within our levels of hierarchy, but because the levels of hierarchy are from visuals, are from like what we can see from our skin colors, there's only so far we can ever get. We can only get but so far in a racial caste system, because it's based on what you see. Like, you can be the richest man in the world. Like, y'all know the guy who made Wakanda Forever, Black Panther? He went into a bank and he wrote down on a piece of paper, like, hey, I want this much money. Trying to be discreet because, you know, I'm pulling out like millions of dollars. I don't want it to be a big deal. And he slid him the note, like, give me $1 million, slid him the note. And because he was black, the white lady, her brain was just like, criminal alert, black man is passing me a note. And she hit the little bank button, and the police came, and she was like, yeah, I thought he was robbing me. And he's like, I am one of, like, Ryan Coogler, just trying to get money out of his own account, but because he did it in a way that she doesn't feel like a black person should be doing. I don't know. It's just like, that's the thing. It's just like the racial biases. Like, because had it been a white man who slid her a note, she would have read it, looked at him, and be like, she would have just took a second to question it. She would have been like, what do you need, sir? What are you looking at? Like, what's going on here? And then, then like the situation could have been toggled for, but because he was black, boop, boop, police button, boop, police button, alert. Like, I'm just like, so anyway, I'll say that because, like, when you're a black person, you will never, like, there's only so far you can be a black billionaire, and I just know for a fact when you are in those billionaire spaces, they still don't treat you the same way. I know it. I just know it. You can be a black billionaire, and they're still not going to accept you the way that freaking the Bezoses and the whatever, all the white people billionaires. I know you can be a billionaire black person, and I just in my heart of hearts, I know that they still treat them differently. They still treat them like an outsider. Like, I just know it, just because the caste system is racial. Like, it is patriarchal. Men are going to be on top. It is class. Money is going to be on top. But that race element is baked in. It is baked in. So no matter how much money you got, if someone can look at you and be like, you a nigga, they are going to, like, a white person, a person who is at a higher racial caste system, they're going to treat you a different way, and it sucks. So anyways, that is I never really got to the cult portion of this whole conversation, but yes, this is why white America is a cult, because they are trained. They are easily trained with treats, because they get good treats. Like, you get a house, you get a good paying job, you get, the wife and the kids and the dog, you get, like, respect in society, you get safety, you can call the police and the police will help you. I'm sorry. That's just like, oh, wow, that must be nice. You can go to the doctor and the doctor doesn't, like, spit at you. You could be a woman as a white woman and you go to the doctor and they, like, actually see what's wrong with you. They care about your pain levels. They'll actually give you medication instead of thinking you're a drug seeker. Like, there's just so many things as a white person that you get. And it's just like, so those rewards are so very nice that you're not, and then because they're so nice and it's just like, you just feel like this is the standard, everyone gets this. Whenever someone points out, this is not what everyone gets, the white person is just like, what? No way, you're crazy. You're being the victim. That happens. So racism is over. Y'all, I argue with so many white people on this app, but I need to, really conserve my energy. But a tiger doesn't change its stripes just because you have money, right? Exactly. Oh yeah, nah, they don't care about that dollar. They don't care about, they care about who has power, and they will respect a black person with money and power more than they will respect a black person without it. But if you if you got the same amount of money as them, they feed on race as a superiority complex. Like, there are so many white people who feel like they use that feeling of feeling above someone else. They get, like, I don't know how to explain, like, they eat it. They feed off of it. It's how they get their ego. It's how they sustain themselves. Like, I'm looking for words. If someone can help me with words of, like, how why they need to feel above a Black person. Like that self-esteem, their self-esteem is based in that. It is based on external factors. And if they can't have those external factors validating their self-esteem, they are lost. They're like, what is love? What is life? Pushing other down to make them feel better. Yes. It is super weird. It's the weirdest thing, Gabri. The weirdest thing. I've been arguing with my family my whole life. I respect you for fighting. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I'm just like, we'll see how long I fight. Thank you so much for speaking of this. I grew up sheltered in the cult, and it's so sickening. Yeah. And it's like and another thing about a cult, going back to just the cultiness of America, they don't allow you to question things. And so when you put religion on top of that, of like, don't allow you to question things, so many thoughts, sorry. So all of those things will always keep you at a lower consciousness, awareness and being woke. That comes from when you dig deeper into a situation, you look deeper into a problem, you deeply analyze yourself and the things around you. But white America punishes you for questioning things. And so white people, for reaching far and wide, they are not allowed to question stuff, and they don't question stuff. And that keeps them at this lower level of consciousness. It keeps them like waiting for massa, it's waiting for daddy papa in the sky to give them a treat, or daddy government to give them a treat. Because white people have been trained so well. And the thing is, most of them don't know they've been trained. Like some of them know, and like, again, they still, I'll take the reward rather than having to work for it. I would say like the majority of white people are just like, they don't even know that they're programmed, they're dogs that are trained to do what that Big Daddy government is telling them. Some of them know that they're being trained, or like that Big Daddy government is telling them, but they just don't care. And then there are like a very small, a small minority of white people who know it, are aware of it, and actively are like, actually, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But that is not. And it's like, but that's not the most of them. And then like lack of education, which is something else they do in America on purpose, is they keep us uneducated, because when you are educated, it allows you to critically think. It allows you to start asking those questions that would allow you to wake up, and allow you to like start peeping into awareness. Like if people start teaching you stuff, then they're just like, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Like that, they keep us uneducated on purpose, because they know because that's what a cult does. A cult, again, that closed system, they don't want you to get external information into the system, because then the system will break. Like you can't, the cults are programmed to be closed, isolated systems, keep you away from people, away from outside thoughts, away from information, so that they can control how you think. And so America, y'all, everyone's like, oh my God, everyone's like, America, oh my God, they're so stupid. Like, it's like, that is on purpose. That is intentional. That is not an accident. That is not just because, it just happened to be that way. Like, oh my God, like Americans are lazy. Americans are dumb. Like, no, we are lazy and dumb because they want us lazy and dumb. The lazier and dumber we are, the more they can take advantage of us, the more that they can trick us, the more that they can train us with treats. Like, reported from oh my freaking goodness. Okay, I think I'm gonna block this person, this Dr. Aaliyah. Yeah, let me just block you, because this person's come to my live on so many occasions, and they start doing all this racism. And it's just like, usually I am for the game. I'm like willing to play it, and I'll like, oh my God, you think I'm stupid and black? Oh my God. And I'll play, but I just don't feel like playing today. So I'm just gonna block them. If we come together, we can all defeat this craziness. That's the sad part. Yeah. But yeah, so yes. I was arguing with a black person today about this. So if we all came together, white, black, blue, green, brown, absolutely, 100%. But this black person was arguing that like basically black people can like liberate ourselves from oppression of the U.S. government. And I was just like, and this may make me sound a certain kind of way, but I'm gonna say no. We can't. Okay. I'm gonna say it is very unlikely for us as Black people to liberate ourselves from underneath the U.S. government. And here are my reasons. All right, listen to my reasons before you just leave. First reason is the biggest reason is we are a minority. Like, Black people, we are some between 14 million and 16 million people in this 300 million person country, and it would take, like, for us to gain like political power and leverage in order to be able to make systemic changes through policy in this country that would actually be impactful for our community is slim to none that Black people are going to amass the amount of power that we need to make systemic change. And so what that means, we would need like white people. We would need white people to use their votes and their power, their political power, and actually vote in the favor of Black people. But because America has been baked in and trained to think that white people and Black people's interests are counterproductive, counterintuitive, they are anti-goals to each other, white people are never going to vote in the interest of Black people. Like, they just never are. And again, it's usually not going to be on purpose. It's usually the way that they frame all policies, anti-Black policies. They usually frame them as like, what's a good one? Okay, the credit system is one of my favorite ones, because I don't know if most people know, but the credit system was created to keep Black people from getting credit. It's from leveraging money. Hi, Jorge the Vanguard. If you don't follow him, everybody go follow Jorge the Vanguard. He is a very smart, intelligent person, and he will tell you the real truth about all Europeans and white people. So the credit system was created by they wanted to keep Black people from getting access to capital and from credit, and so they said, hey, we're going to create this credit system where you have to have references and have someone say that you're a trustworthy person to lend money to, and if you as a trustworthy person are a trustworthy person, you won't have a problem with this. But Black people were like, well, the only people who have credit right now are white people, and it would mean a white person has to say a Black person is trustworthy, but like white people are not going to do that for us because they just inherently distrust us. So like, this policy is racist. This policy is going to disproportionately impact Black people. But the way they frame it to white people, it's like white people are like, what? If you are a good and honest person, you won't care about a credit system. It'll be perfectly fine. So stop victimizing yourself. Stop complaining. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, so that's how they always frame always frame racist policies. They never, like, the DEI. y'all are seeing it today in 2025. They're just like, DEI, it's a racist policy. It's helping up Black people who don't deserve to get the jobs that they're getting. And it's just like, what are you talking about? No, it's literally saying, instead of just hiring white people because that's your cousin or your brother, your uncle, your niece, your auntie, your girlfriend, and them, you have to look across all different populations of people and actually pick the most qualified candidate, not just pick from your pool of your buddies. Like, that's what DEI is saying. It's just like, you can't just pick from your buddies. Nepotism in this country has gotten Donald Trump, has gotten Elon Musk. Every rich, white, corrupt man that is in power today because of nepotism, because of all white people have had power from the beginning of this country. And so all they've done is help out their friends and their buddies get into power. It's just like, if you need money to get money, and the only people who have ever had money is white people. So Black people saying like, hey, can we just do something to break up this white boys club a little bit? And then now you're just like, that's racist. Like, no, it's not racist. What you're doing is racist. What you're doing is racist. But they will always frame it as, it is not racist. I am just doing things to make sure everyone has equality, but they never acknowledge the historical inequities that have brought us to where we are today, that shows us that if you put out a playing field that is equal, it'll never be equal. So that is how, going back to if Black people can liberate themselves, and I say no, because that it would involve white people like thinking that their interest is in the same interest as Black people, and they've been trained to not think that. And then or white people would have to like be educated and like wake up from their cult. And like, as someone who was in a cult, you know how long it took me to get out of my cult? I was in a cult from, how old is my son? He's 12. So I probably I definitely joined around, you always join your cults when you're at your lowest and your most vulnerable. So I was a young single mom. Speaking of sons, he's home now. Here, you guys can come with me to go let him in. So it was like 12 years ago. And I remember I was in it for like 6 years because they were helping me. I didn't really have anywhere to go. All these things. Hold on one second. Oh, hey. TikTok Live.
I knew it.
I told you I was on TikTok Live. This is the son who I was in a cult for. I wasn't a cult for him. Yeah, he knows I'd be on TikTok Live. It's fun. I enjoy talking to people. Okay, it's more expensive to be poor than it is tomorrow to be middle class or upper class. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. I'll put a pin there as I finish this story. Oh, so you always join a cult when you're at your most vulnerable. Dang, now I've forgotten my story. What was I? It's going somewhere. Okay, I honestly think there's yes, it's more expensive to be poor. When you are poor, you are at a higher risk as a borrower and as an insurance person. You're just like, this person doesn't have a lot of money, so their likelihood of them paying me back is rather low. And so let me give them a high interest rate so that I can get as much money as I can in the upfront. And if they default later, I will still have recouped a lot of my money. And if they don't default later, I'll get a really big profit. So it's like high risk, high reward whenever you are poor. That's what, from a lender's point of view, they're just like, oh, they're a high risk, so I get high reward. But when you are rich, they're just like, oh, they've got plenty of money. I know they're going to pay me back. And because they are going to pay me back, they want to, and I'm gonna let them borrow a lot of money because I have to let them borrow more money because I'm gonna give them a smaller interest rate. But a smaller interest rate on a big loan is still a lot of money. Like 1% of $1 million is $1,000. Ooh, I think so. Or wait, 1%. Ooh, okay. 1%. Okay, 1% of $100 is $1, but 1% of $10 is only a cent. But if you borrow $10, but I make the interest rate like 50%, then I can get $15. So, if it's a smaller loans to poor people, but high interest rates, you can get a lot more money, like return on investment wise. But bigger loans to rich people, you can still get a lot of money, and it's almost guaranteed you'll get it back. And so, rich people get the best deals. Like I've been in poverty. When I applied for my credit card when I was poor, I got I think maybe $700 was my credit limit, and that was even more than my sisters and my sisters and my cousins and them, who got like $200 credit limits, and they thought they were balling with a $200 credit limit. But as a person who was making six figures, I'm about to not be. Me and my job were breaking up. So anyone who wants to contribute to my Ensuring Bree Doesn't Go Into Poverty Fund, please do. A link in my bio. But as someone who was making a six-figure salary, they would literally just basically send me credit cards in the mail, like, here, take my money, because they know that the more money you have, the more likely you are to pay it back. And I was getting like $40,000 credit cards just like in the mail. Like I remember being poor as a young person and being like, how do white people be getting like $40,000 worth of debt? That is so much debt. Like how do you even accumulate that much debt? And now as a person who has at least $30,000 in credit card debt, I'm just like, oh, well, this is how, because the more money you make, the more money they much debt. And now as a person who has at least $30,000 in credit card debt, I'm just like, oh, well, this is how, because the more money you make, the more money they give you. And that's why now I tell all my family I'm broke at a higher level. Well, this is how, because the more money you make, the more money they give you. And that's why now I tell all my family I'm broke at a higher level because it's just like you never get out of debt in America. They just give you, the more money you make, the more debt they allow you to accumulate. So you can always almost live like double your means because someone is willing to give you that money. Clothes prey on you when you need them or are young. Yes, that is where I was going, but I was going somewhere else like after that, but then it's still gone. Even the products available to the poor are low quality, meaning you have to replace them more often. Yup. You get stuff that are cheaper and you feel like, oh, if I buy this $10 pair of shoes, that's cheaper than buying this, $50 pair of shoes, but then you don't realize you got to buy that $10 pair of shoes 3 times a year. And so that's still not right. $10 pair, let's say a $20 pair of shoes and versus a $60 pair of shoes, and you have to buy that $20 pair of shoes 3 or 4 times a year, and then plus taxes, and you spend more than the $60 that you would have spent. But the thing about being poor, which always sucks, is that even if you wanted to spend that $60 to get the nicer pair of shoes, when you're poor, you don't have the means to drop large sums of capital all at once. It is always going to be cheaper to pay for something all at once outright than it is going to be to borrow something with like interest over time. But poor people don't have access to money to give them the ability to save money in the long run, because they never have lump sums of cash to pay for something outright. Like it's like, it's very expensive to be poor. It's a scam. It's all 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 a scam. Oh, y'all, it's gonna make me pull my hair out, because the capitalism, and capitalism is, and this is why. Okay, so going back to why Black people will never be able to liberate themselves out of America. Racism is absolutely all by design, and racism is profitable. Racism is profitable. Racism is profitable. Racism is profitable. I'll say that 1,000 times. Like, they make so much money off of white people and Black people. They make money from Black people by keeping them poor and charging them high interest rates and using their Black bodies in prisons and using them for free labor, and using those prisons, filling them up for government contracts. Those prisons get money. Like the police thinks they get money for doing the arrest. Like, every time a Black person is commandeered in some sort of way, money. And then they use the Black population as this like big bad scary man for the white people. And so like they're just like, if you don't want to be like the Blacks, pay me money. If you don't want to be like the Blacks, pay me money. If you want to show off your wealth and show that you're not Black, pay me money for your hair dye, so you can dye your hair blonde every Tuesday. Give me money so that you can get lips fillers, which still lip fillers make you look, you want bigger lips. I don't know. Any aesthetic changes that is anti-Black or Black features on a white body, because like that's a thing. Anything that you have to pay to show off your wealth or show off that you're not Black, or straighten your hair, or all these things you have to buy. Because you don't want to be like the Blacks, even though you don't know that's what you're doing it for, but that is what you're doing it for. You got to pay for that, and that is money. That is capitalism. That is you're distracting me. Get out of here. My kid's picking on me, you guys. Even though he says he wants to be a YouTuber, so I'm just like, how you gonna pick on me for being on the internet and talking to people when you talk about doing the same thing? He's got YouTube videos and everything. So
okay, politics, woman.
Anyways, yeah. So it's they profit off of Black people in one way, and they profit off of white people in another way because of racism. Like, and then like that's like not even just that, but like. Just like all of the systems that are in place that are built off of racism, if they had to dismantle all of that, they would lose so much money. And then also there's that like spiritual warfare essence of it, of that like that self-esteem, that I am better than you, that ego boost that they get from oppressing Black people, or from Black people being in a lower position in society. Like that, you can't pay for that. Like, that is invaluable. That is invaluable for white people. So it's just like, even because that's the thing, racism is expensive in like a lot of ways. If all the Black people in America, right? What is this? We have detected inactivity. I'm active. If all the Black people in America had access to education, had access to healthcare, had access to like resources, like a safe home, like if all Black people in America had their Maslow's hierarchy of needs met, y'all, the amount of innovation, the amount of like ingenuity, the amount of like success, like the amount of profit that America would have if Black people were released from the clutches of oppression, so I'm just like, when I think about that, y'all, I'm just like, the amount of potential, the amount of latent potential that Black people have but cannot harness because of all of these systems that are strategically stripping away Black men from the families that are strategically keeping Black women like oppressed or busy being parents so that we don't have the mental or physical or financial capacity to do other things. It's like it's there's trillions of dollars sitting in the Black community that cannot be realized because of racism. But that money, they don't care to see it, because that would delete their ego. That would delete the narrative that Black people can't, or that would like that like, I don't know the word for it, but that need for Black inferiority, that myth that is there, if that myth was broken, like white people, I don't know, they we know that they have this extinction burst that's happening right now, like where all white people are like kind of losing their sugar honey iced tea, because they are becoming a minority, especially here in America. There is a culture of control that is within white America as a community. There is this need for control, and if they do not have control, they lose because they feel like if they can't control the outcome of something, like they just fear the unknown. Like America, I don't know, it's just like I feel like it's just like culture of anxiety of like, if you can't control the future, then the future must be grim, the future must be awful, the future must be fire and brimstone. If I can't control the future, if I can't control the narrative, if I can't control the now, then awful things are going to come to me in my future. Hello, dog. My dog wants to go outside. 1 second. And don't ask to come back in. Bye. That's what it is. And so they need to have control over their own people and then other populations as well, so that they can, right? Okay. Yeah. I think it is a safety thing. It is a safety thing, because they feel like, because I do feel like white people have really disconnected their minds, their bodies, and their spirits, and because they don't have they're not connected to their spirit. They don't have like intuition, because your intuition comes from your spirit, your ancestors, like that. There's something inside of you that kind of guides you and tells you, ooh, this is right, or ooh, this is wrong, or like, that doesn't feel good. Like you're collecting data all the time whenever you're just walking through life. And so whenever something happens, you have an instinct or a gut reaction, and you can't put words to why you feel that way, but that is all the data you've collected coming into a moment and saying, I can't give you words, or I can't give you a thought for why this is, but it is, you need to run, or it is, or like, no, this is good, or like that spirit, your intuition. White people, I feel like they've just like, I know that they've had to disconnect. They had to, because in order to enslave an entire population of people and treat Black people the way that they treated Black people during those times, not even just Black people, but like their own kids, y'all. Like when they would have a child with an enslaved woman, and then that child would be they would enslave that child, and the way they would treat that child, that it was technically their child. I just like, when I think about that, there is like, you have to have deleted your spirit. You can't have your spirit. You can't, because if you don't feel everything inside of you is telling you this is wrong, this is awful, this is terrible, like, you are just mind and body. You have no spirit. Your spirit is gone. It's been deleted. It is gone. And so I do feel like white people have like, and then another reason why I think white people have like disconnected themselves from their spirits is because they've created this high control environment. TikTok is asking you to read our comments and engage with us. They've created this high control environment. TikTok is asking you to read our comments and engage with us. Hello. Well, okay. Hi, comments. I'm trying to, but I get to talking and I get to thinking, and then I just got to say what I'm thinking, and then I forget that I have to read the comments. I'm a bad TikToker. You feel safe here. I'm glad you feel safe here. Okay. So we all could live our best lives. We all could be living good, all races and genders. We sure could if white people would have relinquished control. And as that's what I was saying, they are relinquishing control because they don't want to relinquish control because they don't trust that things will be okay. That is the problem. It's like white people, they don't trust. And again, the spirit, like they don't trust that, like again, at the top of this TikTok, I was saying whatever is going to be is going to be. Me and my job are breaking up. That's what I call it. I got fired. I got fired from my job. For like not various reasons. It was really one reason. It was like I took the job. It was a really big job. I wasn't qualified for the job. I thought I could fake it till I made it type of business. And I faked it till I made it through the interview. Faked it till I made it for a few months. But the part of the job that was like contracting and like negotiating contracts between my business and another business, it was hard. And you gotta be a dog. Like, you gotta be a dog in these streets. And I'm just like, I'm not a dog. I'm not a dog. I just like if the other company was like, yeah, we don't want to pay $30,000, can we pay $20,000? I would be like, okay. And no, they want you to say like, no, go out. They want you to go out, overcharge people. All right, say the product is $30,000. They want to be like, go out with $40,000, and then say, hey, this is $40,000, and then look at them in the eye and be like, okay, and how do you feel about that? And then if they say they wanted $30,000, I'd say, well, why do you want $30,000? Why do you need $30,000? Is $30,000 really all? Like, that's all you can afford? But like, so that was another thing. It's like there was this white politics that I had to like understand how to basically. They were trying to teach me / I was supposed to scam people out of their money in a politically correct and kind way. And I barely knew white people. I barely know white people politics as a black person as it is. I'm not good with like scamming people out of their money because I'm a person who used to be poor. So I'm just like, if you need help, but the thing is like, I try to delete that mentality because these are not poor people that I was negotiating with. These are $1 million businesses. And so I was just like, anyway, so I was bad at it. And so my boss was like, I love my boss. She was a wonderful lady, but they were just like, you're not doing what we need you to do. And I was like, you're right, I'm not. Which is why I say we broke up. It was a mutual agreement because I was also stressed out. Why did I start talking about this? Quick question: how do you get in touch with your spirit? Okay, yes. I think this is. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that, and that's how I was talking about my job. But yeah, so mainly white men. Yes. Man, those white guys, I tell you what, those guys, they don't care about nothing. They will lie, they will cheat, they will steal. Like, I was listening to another TikTok, so I'm answering your question in a second, but I was listening to another TikToker who was talking about white America and corporate America, and her white male mentor was like, oh, you want to get on a project with that white lady over there? Just talk about religion. She loves God. And the black girl, she was like, but I'm not religious. I don't really like talking about God. He was like, that don't matter. Just talk about it anyway. Like, white men, they will lie, they will pretend, they are the best actors in the world, y'all. It does not matter. They will just do it. And so how do you get in touch with your spirit? So it's just, okay. So that's what I was saying. So like, they've disconnected themselves from their spirit. Dang, I was like, there was a thread there that I was trying to go down, but I'll just answer this question. The biggest answer is introspection. Like that is the number one way to get in touch with your spirit. It is to sit down in a quiet space, and it's really meditation. Is the long story short. Introspection and meditation are very, very similar. But introspection, like meditation, is really you're trying to be extremely present and kind of like get rid of thoughts and not think about anything. But introspection is like the practice of thinking deeply. It is thinking deeper and deeper and deeper. And it was described to me one time in I think a beautiful way of like, when you have your 5 senses, you use tools to magnify them. So if you want to see something really far away with your eyes, you get a telescope or like binoculars. Or if you want to hear something, you can get like hearing aids if you want to amplify your hearing. But like introspection is it's like your sixth sense. You take it, your tool is like your mind, your thinking, and you get binoculars, but you turn them inside of yourself, and you get a telescope and you turn it inside yourself, and you look deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into your mind. So if I'm like, so, okay, it's like right now I am having this like, okay, what do I want to do for work right now? And I do know I want to do something with public speaking, something with, motivational speaking or teaching or something like that. But I'm just like, I don't want to go back to corporate America. So anyway, so I was just like, I have all these thoughts, but I'm just like, I sit with myself and I'm just, I don't want to go back to corporate America. So anyway, so I was just like, I have all these thoughts, but I'm just like, I sit with myself and I'm just like, what do I really want? I really want something that's going to allow me to be helping other people, help people on their life journey, help people be better people, help people see things that I see that they don't see. Like, I really want to do something that's helping. So couple of directions I could go with that. I can go, why do I want to do something helping, to figure out if that's really, really, really what I want, or I can figure out, okay, what are my options? What would I really be okay with? If I would, like, am I okay with going down in my salary? Am I okay with going down in my material status? Which I've already asked myself all these questions. I've already figured it out. But outwardly, how do you connect with the world? I ask myself all these questions. I've already figured it out. But outwardly, how do you connect with the world? Outwardly, how do you connect to the world? That's the thing, though. It's just like, once you, like, everyone, like, all this external stuff, it don't matter. It don't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. What actually matters is what's inside of you. And so once you figure out once you are deeply connected with yourself, everything else outside becomes so much more clear. I know that, like, it's not a great explanation, but when you're moving through the world trying to figure out how to navigate the world through the lens of other people, you are very easily influenced by other people. So, like, if you have, like, so a good example is, like, if you have a dream about doing something, like a goal that you want to accomplish, you should never tell people about your goal. You should never tell people about your goal, because what you're doing is, one, you are inviting unsolicited opinions. Like, you think that, I want to tell someone something, but I don't want their opinion. No. The moment you open your mouth to tell someone something about you, you are inviting their spirit, their energy, their opinion about that situation to you. You are inviting it the moment it leaves your lips. So the only time you should talk to people about your goals are, one, like a significant other, and even then, maybe not. But two, is really should be someone who has accomplished your goal, and you are looking for advice from someone who has that expertise. That is the only time you really should be telling someone about something you're going to do, because otherwise you're either just looking for validation, right? You're like, oh my God, I want to write this book one day, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's such a great idea, you should write the book, it's going to be an amazing book. And, like, you get all of this validation, and science has shown that once you get validation for a goal that you're trying to accomplish, you're less likely to accomplish the goal, because you got that reward energy just from people telling you it's a good idea, so it demotivates you. So you're either looking for validation, or you're looking for people's opinions. And why are you looking for people's opinion on your goals? Unless they have some sort of specific expertise, like, they have nothing to give you other than their random unsolicited opinion. And you don't need that, because what it does is it then begins to cloud your thoughts. It begins to be like, okay, so you want to write this book, let's say, but let's say, your mom doesn't want you to write a book. She wants you to be a doctor, right? And so you tell your mom, I want to write this book. And then mom's like, I don't think that's a good idea. So now, boom, mom has introduced doubt. Like, you didn't ask for it. You didn't think that's what she was going to do. You hoped that she was going to support you because you wanted that validation, because you didn't feel like you wanting to do it was good enough just to do it. But now she didn't give you that validation. So now you're like, now you've introduced doubt. Like, now you're just like, ooh, should I do it? Should I not? But, like, your spirit initially was calling you to write that book, but now you're just like, but now that external source has now created this new thought in your mind. And so what is listening to your spirit? Your spirit, again, is when you introspect and you know yourself so deeply and so fully and so unconditionally that you do not need external opinions to validate anything that you're thinking, because you know it came from you, it came from within. Okay, so all right, let's see. Naming it puts limit. Name. Hold on, let me. Feeling. This was an amazing discussion. I have to head out. Have an awesome day, everyone. Thanks, Alex. Oh, you're probably gone by now because I don't read fast enough. But thanks for coming. You were great engagement. Naming it puts limitations on what it could be. I disagree. I agree. Naming it. Okay, what do you mean? Do you mean naming it out loud or naming it to yourself? Naming what also? Because, okay, naming what? Dang, I gotta keep up with things in real time so that I can give you more thoughts. Wow, I didn't know that, but I didn't know that was sense, but I knew / felt the truth of it. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. I think good. I'm glad. Cause like that is what it is. It's like people, I stopped posting on Instagram like months and months ago. Cause it was just like, it's just like, so they call, the monitoring spirits. I don't know if you guys have heard the monitoring spirits. It's just like people will sit around and watch you when you put out information for people. When people have information about you, they will think negative thoughts, they will think positive thoughts, but they're going to think something. And those, and like, even just that is energy going into the air. And people don't think like your thoughts are energy, but your brain is made of electrical impulses. Electrical impulses are your thoughts. And what is electricity but nothing but energy? Y'all, I know, and you see people are gonna be like, you think too deeply about things, but y'all, so you're putting yourself out there, and then people will put energy and put thoughts about you. Like, if you got haters who don't want to see you succeed and you posting stuff about your success, they're just going to be like, ooh, I hate her, or, ooh, I don't like her. So you're just giving them fuel to think about you in a negative light. And yeah, some of it will be positive, but a lot of it will be people hating. And I'm just like, I don't need to, again, when you don't need validation from other people, there's no need to put your energy out in the world or like show off your accomplishments. Like I've had several accomplishments in the recent times, but I didn't post it on Instagram, I didn't post it on Facebook. I texted it to my husband. I texted it to like two or three of my close friends, and then like a couple of my family members, and like that's it. Like a couple of really close people who I know will be genuinely happy for my success and will only pour out positive energy for me. Those are the people who get to know good things about me that's happening. But other than that, you don't get to know nothing about me. You don't get to know nothing about me, because unless you've proven to me that you are someone who is for me and my joy and my success, you don't get access to my information, because just giving people information about you is enough for them to like put good or bad energy out there into the world. And then even then, people don't get to know about what I'm even doing until I've gotten to the point where like, hey, I just pull up out of nowhere and be like, oh my God, guess what? I just got a million followers on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It's just like, but I'm not gonna tell you I'm working towards this goal. I'm not telling you I'm writing this book. I'm not telling you I'm applying for the job. I'm not telling you nothing about me until I've done it, because I don't want I don't need your validation. I don't want your opinions unless you've done it before. And if I did, I will specifically ask you. And I don't need your approval. I don't need nothing. And like once you have that, it's just like you navigate the world in a different place. And then also how that translates to the outside world is like, once you understand what that looks like in yourself, it is very easy to translate to see what that looks like in other people. Like when I see racist people in my chat, I was like, whenever I feel because I'm so secure in who I am, you can't insult me and bring down my self-esteem, because it's just like, that's weird. Like you can't insult me and make me feel bad about myself, because I'm so assured of who I am, because I've done that work. But because I know what that looks like, so now I know what it looks like to be in an insecure place. I know what it looks like to be an evil person. I know what it looks like to be someone who needs validation. I know what it looks like to see someone who like is unsure, or like who is looking for attention. Like I can see all of that now, because I've been there, I've done that, and I've moved on in my life. So knowing yourself truly and being so assured of yourself truly, it allows you to begin to have that intuition. Your intuition will start picking it up very quickly on who's good, who's bad, who's good for me, who's wrong. Like, and then when you are so assured of yourself, I can then listen to your intuition, because a lot of people, they have the intuition, but they will ignore it. They will ignore it, or they will let someone else talk them out of it. So like when you go and you approach a weird sketchy man, or you're out on a date from Tinder and you like are sitting at the table with this man, and this man is like, he's giving you weird vibes, but you can't articulate those vibes because it's just a bunch of data that you've collected, and your body and your spirit is telling you this guy is bad vibes, but you can't put words to it, and you're just like, hey, like, how are you doing? And then he just comes off as like this wonderful, amazing, charming person, and you don't know why this person gives you bad vibes, even though everything in front of you is telling you this person is wonderful. A lot of women will just ignore that. They will just ignore it. They will let that man pacify them and say like, oh no, okay, yeah, you're right, I was tripping, or oh, okay. Like you will ignore that intuition because you don't trust yourself, and you will go and make bad decisions, and you'll look back in 5 years and be like, dang, you know what? I remember feeling this way, but I didn't listen, and now you regret it. So once you get to a certain place in your life and you have that assurance, not only will you see your intuition, hear your intuition, you will feel very comfortable and confident listening to your intuition. Versus, okay, that's why, okay, my mom always taught me that every word becomes reality. I was just teaching my son that, Deanna, oh, hey, Deanna, hey, friend. Yeah, I was just teaching my son that. I literally was just like, not cursing him out, but like saying like, words are powerful. You don't think your words are powerful? Like, I was like, a lot of people don't think about this, and I'm not a doctor, so, but a lot of mental health issues in my personal experience, right? And like trauma in general is when you have something bad happen to you and you let that bad experience repeat itself in your head over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And and it becomes your only thought. And I tell people all the time, like, your thoughts, okay, are these, you have neural synapses in your brain where a thought like makes that electronic impulse and that signal. And what muscle memory is, when you learn something, with learning a language, learning anything new, is creating a new neural pathway, and doing something in repetition, it strengthens that pathway so that like when you drop a coin, let's say, a thought into this neural pathway, there's one that's already carved out, and your brain is always going to pick the one that's the easiest, the one that's familiar, the one that's already there, the one that you've practiced, the one that you've done over and over again. And so when mental health issues, from my intuition, I'm gonna call it, is whenever you have like a situation that is very familiar to the situation that has already been like greased up in your neural pathway, is like you have that situation come, boop, and it goes through that neural pathway that you've already, and that's what it is, being triggered. Like that neural pathway is already there. And so it takes a lot of work to disconnect it once that one neural pathway has already been created and strengthened. It takes a lot of work to like deconstruct that neural pathway. It takes a lot of practice to put a coin into this pathway and then like ensure that the coin goes into a different path. Like that does take a lot of work, but people don't realize that's what's happening. And so they feel like they have no control over their thoughts, but it's like you do. Cause if you're depressed, you got to wake up every morning and start saying positive things. You just got to say, I love myself. Life is going to be good. Life is going to be better, until you practice that over and over again, and your body will get used to like going for the positive versus the negative whenever something happens. So yes, words have power, and that so your thoughts, they come into words, and your words have thoughts, and that is what manifestation is. If you say something out loud enough, you're going to if the opportunity presents itself, you're much more likely to see it if you have thought about it, if you've practiced it, if you said it. Once the opportunity comes, you will. There was a study. Y'all, I got studies for years. There was a study that it gave two groups of people a newspaper. And one was a group of negative thinkers, and one was a group of positive thinkers. And they were read this newspaper till the end, and then tell us how many pages were in the newspaper or something like that. And the group of positive people, they read it, they opened it up, and on the second page, it was you don't have to read to the end. There are this many pages. You're good to go. Actually, give the book back to the tester person. And so the positive people, they saw that right away and were just okay, well, I said I'm good to go, so here you go. But the group of negative thinkers, they read through the pages, they overlooked that entire message, and they just kept going, and they just were miserable all the way to the end of this very long study thing. And what it showed is just if you think good things will happen to you, you are more likely to notice and see good things happening to you. But if you think everything to you is always going to be bad, you are more likely to just notice and that is self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you're going to lose the race, you're going to lose the race. If you think you're going to win the race, you're going to win the race. And if you think you're going to win and you lose, you're still more likely to be dang, I could have done this better. Dang, I could have practiced better. Dang, I could have did this better. And you're more likely to learn from the situation rather than just take that situation and be yeah, I'm a loser. See, I knew I was going to lose. I'm always going to be a loser mentality. That is your thoughts are extremely powerful. Okay, okay. That's why affirmations are very, very important. I made my son do them, and he went from this my son was very dark. He was me and his dad, we didn't work out. His dad sucks. Boo. And he went from a very dark child after dealing with seriously divorced. We were never married. I'm glad I didn't marry that man. But we did live together. It was very much a marriage-like situation. And my kid was very, very dark. Anyways, long story short is I made him do affirmations all the time, saying that he's wonderful, he's smart, he's capable. And now, you guys, you just kind of saw him coming in and out of my room messing with me. He's a much more bright, positive, he thinks he's capable. He's a much better now. Versus degrading yourself. Yeah, my son used to always think, I'm not good enough, I'm awful, all these things. It's just like, no. I like those words, like, though they create neural pathways in your brain, and you start greasing them up. You start greasing, as soon as if you think you are negative, if you think you ugly, you're gonna look in the mirror, and guess what? You're gonna think you ugly. Like, if you think you fat, if you think all these things about yourself, when you shape your own perception of reality, you literally do. Like, y'all, you shape your own perception of reality. If you think that, like, also, it's like, that's how you can change your own perception of yourself. If you think your hair is ugly dark, your hair is going to be ugly dark. But if you look at yourself and be like, you know, I actually do look good with curly hair, you're gonna think you look good with curly hair. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but like, people think that the chicken came before the egg, but no, the egg is first. Your thoughts, your words, those are first. And then, but like, you know, I get from when you're a kid, people's perceptions of you do affect how you think about yourself. But once you get older, you have to learn how to take those create your own reality. You got to create your own reality, because you do, like, manifestations are real, intentions are real. Like, if you think something is going to happen, it is just much more likely to happen, just because, again, it'll happen, even if it happens, like, no matter if you had that intention or manifestation, or if you didn't, if it happens, you are more likely to notice it and capitalize on the opportunity of it happening if you've primed yourself to do so, than if you don't. And that makes me think about giving, back to the matter at hand of white America being a cult. They prime themselves to think that they are primed from very young to make them think that they are more superior than every other race. And then they have all these affirming things in society to make them think that that those things are true. And then if someone goes to question, and they've primed themselves to believe that. So if someone questions that and say, like, what if this thing is not true? That's when they get that triggered reaction of, like, white people are like, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna just say it. I'm like, I wonder if white people sit around thinking that one day their sins are going to come back for them. That's I don't know. That's what I think about. I'm just like, if they just sit around and thinking that, as adults, we all have to gentle parent ourselves to reprogram our, yes, 100%. Yeah, no, we do. I've talked to Little Bree all the time. Me and Little Bree, we locked in. At this point, we locked in. I've apologized to her, told her super sorry. I've gotten her things that she's always wanted. My teeth, actually, I used to have a big gap in between my teeth. You can still kind of see this little gap right there. But when I got older and I was able to because I always wanted braces when I was young, because I hated my gap when I was little. But the thing is, like, after I got older, I loved my gap, and it was like really a part of my personality for a little while. And it was just like, I was going to smile as big as I could, no matter what, gap or no gap. But when I got money, I thought about Little Bree and how bad she wanted it closed. And I was just like, okay. I was like, and like, to this day, I still sit here and think about, should I have done that? I'm not sure, because it was a natural part of who I was. And I miss my gap all the time. I really do. It was just so unique. It was so unique. It's just like, I don't like, it was so unique, and it was so authentically a part of myself, but I closed it to heal a part of my inner child who wanted it closed. But that makes me think about white America, because I was like, I liked it because it was unique, but white people, I don't understand what it is. Why is white people against uniqueness? It's like white people again, but that is when you're in a cult, you are conditioned to think that sameness is good. Like, when you're in a cult, if you stand out in a cult, you are punished. If you stand out as different thoughts or different minded or different information, you're not one with the cult, you are punished. Because I'm just like, white people all wanting blonde hair, all wanting to be skinny, all wanting a straight nose, all wanting, like, just like, they all want to look the same. And it's like, that is so, that, and I don't like, and in my mind, I'm just like, that is so anti-black. Blackness is like, we are all very expressive people. We all want to be very unique in our individuality. We love to express our individuality as a culture. And I'm just like, maybe that is what it is. It's like, white America is it's very same. White people don't think about their sins. Jesus took them away. White people can do no wrong. That is how they feel. Right. So they don't think about their sins. That's what you're saying. They just feel like all their sins have been atoned for already, so they can move on with their lives, and just be like, no, we're good to go. I don't need reparations. That's what they. Okay, sorry, pivoting here, but something that has been really bothering me, and I'm gonna make a video on it, is that they want to be special, not unique. Huh? Interesting. What a bar. Hi, white women whisperer. That is a bar. They want to be special but not unique, right? They all want to be the exact same, but they want to be like the highlight of the sameness. Like if everyone is like, I don't know how to explain it, but like I get what you're saying. Okay, here, let me pull out my my board. Where do you think their audacity comes from? It comes from Jesus. But if all white people are a dot, these are white people. They just want to be the chosen dot. 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 That is it. Wow. You re-chemistryed my brain. That's what people have been saying. You just opened something up. You're right. They don't want to be a square. Like, no, this guy, if he's a square, or like if you're a darker dot, or if you're like a bigger dot, like all these, you guys are the problem. But you the prize, baby girl. You the prize. They want to be special. They all want to be a special little snowflake. Like they all want to be the same snowflake, but they just want to be the chosen snowflake. That's why they're obsessed with being the chosen one. That's why they're obsessed with being the chosen one. They love 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 being the chosen one. Wow. The best they have is not like each other. Wait, hold on, wait. The best they have is not like other. You're right. Okay. All right. Sorry. It took me a couple calculations. But yes, that is it. It's like, I'm not like the other girls. I'm better. They just want to be better. They want to be the exact same, but like the best version of the same. Interesting. Yeah, no, you're right. Where do you think? Oh yeah, no, that is it. That is all. They want to be special, but not unique. That is so interesting. I've been saying that white people are like, they like enjoy being the same. They all enjoy having the same aesthetic. They all like need the same Stanley cups. Like that's why trends work very well with white people because they all like once the higher authority says like this is the thing that you have to be worthy, they can't be left out. And so they all like FOMO in the white community is nuts. Like I have FOMO. Everyone has a little FOMO here and there, but like if you are left out in the white community, you are at risk of being ostracized from the entire community. You are at risk of like losing your white card if you don't make it in time. And so like they have this like mob mentality where they just all move and it's good for organization. They're extremely organized, right? When it comes to unifying and power and using their power to make a difference, if that difference is positive or negative, probably negative for the greater of humanity. But it's like they weaponize their sameness and their mob and cult mentality to get things done. But they want to be special, but I've never thought about it like that. I've been thinking about this sameness that they have for so long, but I'm like, that's it. They're all the same exact dot. They just want to be the chosen special dot. Like, you're right. That's it. They just want to be the better dot. But they'll never do anything to stand out, to make themselves better. They can't be too smart. They can't be too loud. They can't be too different. They can't be like, wow, that is so, wow. Okay. Yep. Special, but not unique. I'm like, in my mind, special and unique were the same thing. I would have never separated them out, but no, that's exactly what it is. They want to be all the same, but like better than the other. How did you come to decenter religion? Excellent question. Through, again, a lot of, I would say it started as a very young child. I just remember very specifically this, like, one of my core memories is being in church and I was best friends with one of the, like, essentially like one of the preacher's kids, for lack of better words. And I remember I had just slept over her house the night before, and she used me as an excuse for her mom, like, not bothering her, like not coming in the room. Like, her mom would do like nighttime checks to make sure she's in her room. But I was like, one of the good kids. I was like, I was a law-abiding citizen. I was like not a troublemaker. And long story short is, like, she snuck out of her room that night that I was sleeping over so that she could go sleep with a boy that she was like, mind you, we're like 14. This is like, we're like young folks. And she does that and comes back, and then we go to church the next morning, and I'll never forget her, like, just, coming into church and then like hooping and hollering and shouting and praying and like, oh my God, like, oh Lord, I can feel him, my spirit. And I remember everyone, like, all the church members, like, just like loving on her and like congratulating her and like, oh my God, she's so of the world, like of the church, of the Lord is touching her. And then I remember me sitting there just like not feeling this spirit. And it was like a group. It was like this group of girls at this church, and all of us young girls, and all of the girls who I knew were like everything that was a sinner, everything that was a sinner. They would come to church, and this is like every Sunday, but this Sunday was very specific because again, that sleepover the night before, I was just like, you was just out, you were sleeping with a boy, you were doing, and like, mind you, before, I'm still very much like, virgin, pure, like I hadn't done none of this stuff, y'all. And it was just like, and it's like, again, I'm not, like, I wasn't super religious, and I wasn't not having schmecks because I was religious. It's just like, I wasn't ready for that. But this is like a preacher's kid, and then like this group of preacher's kids, and they were all like, just, again, hooping and hollering, and the church was just like, just loving on them. And then there was me, and I stayed in my pew, and I was sitting down, and I was just watching them, and I was just like, okay. And I just remember like, I don't know if it was like a church lady or like several church ladies, but it was just like, I remember they just came, like one church lady or more than like several church ladies glared at me because I wasn't joining the group in this hooping and this hollering. And then one church lady specifically was just like, you should be more like them. And I was just like, and I was just like, and I was just like, and again, I knew several of those girls were doing the nasty. Some of them had did nasty in the church, like in the church, and so that was like my first decracking of like, this doesn't feel right. And then I remember just like, and I've always just been an inquisitive kid. Like, that is what I was always just had questions, and I do have ADHD, so I'm like neurodivergence is like, we are not good with like social cues a lot of times. So it's just like all of these politics and social cues that I was supposed to follow, I didn't follow them, and I was very logical of like, 1 + 2 is 3. Well, 1 + 2 is 3. Okay. And so I would ask questions. And I remember one question that I asked, like almost like basically every year in church, I would ask this question. They said that God is all good, all knowing, and all powerful. So like this God, he could control everything. He knew everything that was going to happen, and he was always good. And like, those are the 3 things that they describe God as. And I literally had a laundry list long. I was just like, okay, so if he's all powerful, that means he can control what happens, right? Yes. Okay. So if he can control what happens, why did he not stop, Adam and Eve from eating the apple and then making us all, have these terrible consequences? And they're like, oh, because we got free will. Okay. But if we have free will, but he can control us, why would he give us free will? Why doesn't he just control us to make sure we do what he's supposed to do, what we're supposed to do? So is he all controlling, or is he not all controlling? So then it was like, okay, he's all good. I'm just like, okay, if he's all good and he only does good things, why did he do all these bad things in the Bible? Or like, why does he let all these bad things happen to people? Like, I pride myself on being a good person and doing what I'm supposed to do, but like, he lets all these bad things happen, but you say he's all good. And then it was like, all good, all powerful, all knowing. And then, okay, so I was just like, so he knew Adam and Eve were going to eat off the apple. He could have stopped Adam and Eve from eating off the apple, but he didn't stop them from eating off the apple and let all these bad things happen to humanity. So it's just like, which one fucking is it? Is he all good? Is he all powerful? Is he all knowing? But it can't be all 3. It cannot be all 3. And that question, till this day, obviously, as I sit here and still can say it off the top of my head, it just never sat with me, because like, it's just like, you're saying that God is all knowing, all powerful, and all good. And bad things happen. He could have stopped it. He didn't. He knew it was going to happen, but he like let us be born anyway. It's just like what, like it just cannot be all three. And I remember I literally went to college, right? Exactly. Hey, Jenny. Oh, hey, Jenny. And I remember I went to college and I took a philosophy class and I asked my philosophy teacher that. Mind you, I had this question when I was like 7 years old. And now I'm sitting here in a college philosophy class at 20-something years old asking the same question. Mind you, I'm in my 30s now, sitting here. And now this is how I've constructed realism. I'm just like, fuck it. It ain't true. 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 Because there's no way in hell that there is an entity, a conscious entity in the sky that is a good, all good person and doesn't want to see suffering and pain, and doesn't want to see suffering and pain specifically for people who don't deserve it. Because my thing was just like, I get, suffering is going to happen, but why can't you limit it to people who suck? Limit it to people, and then it's like, and then especially, again, y'all, this church was toxic as heck. It's like, I remember my family was going through a financially tough time, and we had been paying our tithes for like 10 years at the same church. We were in the church for 10 years and going through a tough time, so we stopped paying our tithes for like a couple of months. And then we went to the church to be like, hey, we need a little help with like, our mortgage. Can you guys help us out? And they said, no, we can't help you out because you haven't paid your tithes in the last 2 months. So the unanswered questions got me like questioning Christianity, and then like the not helping good people when good people needed help, that got me away from the church. So have you lost all your church friends? No, not all of them. One of my best friends is still very religious, and I poke holes in her belief all the time, and I think it makes her uncomfortable. And and I've been starting to be like, I'm gonna pull back a little bit on my bestie because I don't want to lose my bestie because she's a wonderful person. Like, a lot of Christians are good people, and that's the thing about Christianity is like, if you're a good person, you're gonna follow these. Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to share my story. That is 100% not what God says or does. I'm sorry that you have been deceived. Oh, thanks, person. I won't say who you are because this message is invisible. Yeah. Well, I know that. So okay. No problem for sharing. Happy to share. Have I lost all my friends? No, I haven't lost all my friends, but a lot of my friends, I will say, don't know that I believe this about Christianity and that I believe it so strongly. So this is a lot of me. There's a lot of me on TikTok that like my real life people don't actually know about, which is, funny enough, can be, yourself with strangers more than you can be with people in your real life. No, she has not been, she's telling the truth. Right. And I was just like, yeah. So I was just like, and then that was my thing about, it's just like, God is, so for me personally, right, God is not a sentient being like the human, the way that that Christianity teaches you to be, teaches you to think that it is. In my mind, God is like more of an entity, but it's not like it's not a human. Like, we were made in God's image. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I don't think of God as like a human who, again, makes decisions on my behalf or on your behalf, or like, no, like I think of God as like the spirit of life, and like the spirit of life flows through all of us, all humans, all dogs, all cats, all trees, all flowers, all mushrooms, like all moss, like anything that is a biological organism that can grow, reproduce, and create waste as it poops and then die. Like anything that can do those four things, like consume energy, eat, grow, reproduce, and die, that has life force in it. It has it has life force, and that life force is God. And that life force, you can use that life force depending on your level of consciousness, to like manifest, or like, like to create the reality that you live in. So it's like, because like, I'm just like, because the thing is, there's no good or bad. Good or bad is always going to be relative to the person who is standing there. It's like, I think about, like I look at nature a lot for all of my spirituality, because whatever happens in nature is really how things are supposed to be, in my personal opinion. And like, so you would think that a lion would think that a deer is like a deer would think that a lion is bad because lions eat deer, but that's not the case, because like there can't be but so many deer, or because if there were too many deer, then they would eat all the grass, and if there was no grass, then I don't know, something else that eats grass would die away. So it's just like everything in life, every person in life, everything has a purpose, has a role that it has to play, and the spirit of life, or God, that energy is just there. It is there to like keep the world going around, like keep everything like happy and in balance, like God is balance in my eyes. Like God is like this balancing energy, and it's just, and you use that energy to create balance and alignment in yourself and in your life and in the people around you, and to like decrease suffering wherever you can. But you know, again, but even suffering is a part of life, and like and honestly, humans, we need to learn how to suffer. Well, I don't want to say that, because no, we are suffering a lot. That is one thing, but because we are suffering in one way, but because we're suffering, we're suffering too much. We are certainly suffering too much, and because we're suffering too much, each of us are like looking for a way to get rid of all of this suffering, and that's where like drugs abuse comes in, and like all this drinking, and like all this internet, like all these things that we do to numb the pain of capitalism. That is because there's an imbalance in our life of joy and expression to like work and output. So that was a lot, and it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, that's sad that you feel that way with strangers. I mean, but like strangers are great. I love strangers personally, because strangers are like first of all strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. So that's one of my philosophies. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, you can, like, strangers, you can show up as whoever you want. Like the people who have been in your life, it is so hard because they've known you through all of your like changes, and it's hard for a person to meet you in one state and then see you in a different state and see you as a different person, but you are. So it's like I have to like pacify that stagnant mentality that a lot of people have, and a lot of my family and friends have, of like they don't understand that how growth works, and change works. They think that change is temporary, or like is not real, or like it's like that most of that is temporary. So yeah, I have to pacify them. But I love strangers because I can show up as who I am today, and you have no like idea who I used to be, and so you get to accept me for I get to start from here, and then we can move forward in our relationship journey. But yeah, with people in your life, you have to navigate this, making them feel comfortable because they knew you as one thing, and they haven't been able to change that in their minds. So it's like, it's sad, but you know, it's a skill set that I get to, you gotta placate the masses. You have to, you know, it's a skill that I have to use to, you know, work with people and meet them where they are. So yeah, no, he's more like an energy. No, he's not. It's more like the energy. Yes. You get it. 277 Nini. Thank you. I appreciate that. You get it. God is an energy. It's an energy. He, not even a he. Please, not a he. That's another big problem with Christianity. And that's another problem that I've always had too with Christianity, is how subservient, like how low, like first of all, that it's a hierarchy, and then in that hierarchy, women are beneath or below in this hierarchy. Women are never, y'all, yeah, don't let me get on my matriarch women feminism. Yeah, women, we just think differently. We are this strategic future. We are, like, again, everything is balanced, and so I never want men to think that women are above them, but we have a different role. Like, again, everything in life is created to have a role that enhances balance in all things, and women's role is strategic. It is forward thinking. It is thinking about life as a whole, like thinking about life as a forward. But men's are very present centered. They're very grounded. They're very energetic, and like and they're very executory. Men don't really think. They do, but women, they don't really, they do, but we do a lot of thinking. And there's nothing wrong with those two energies, and it's beautiful when they come together because they get stuff done. If a woman's like, all right, here's what the future of humanity is going to look like, because we have a lot more spirituality, we have a lot more intuition, because that we have life source, we have a little bit more God, just a little bit more God inside of women, because we have a uterus, and we have to navigate bringing life from the spiritual unseen to this plane of existence. We have a little bit more God energy, but we use that in a certain way, and then men are supposed to complement that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how things are. But men apparently don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. So IDK, what you're talking about, just got here, but what you just said is what I believe that is. Okay, Lenny Lucia, Lenny loves you. Oh, duh, Lenny loves you. Thanks. Okay, great. I am glad there are people on this planet Earth who don't think that I'm crazy, because if I would have said this to my mom, she would have whacked me in my head. And I'm just like, Mom, that's not very nice. It's just not nice at all. Not a he for sure. More like a she, right? That's why I say, in my personal opinion, God is a masculine, feminine energy of balance, right? It's going to have both masculine and feminine energy, whatever it is. It's a yin and yang. It's a harmony. It's a balance. But if we had to pick I think the natural order of this yin and yang is going to be a little bit more feminine energy than masculine energy, because masculine energy, having a balance of masculine energy in exactly the same amounts, is dangerous, because the masculine energy is so fiery and so dominating. It will consume the feminine energy if it's too much of it. So you need to have more feminine energy to quell the masculine energy. And that's why masculine energy is the sun, and feminine energy is the ocean and the moon. It is water and moon. It is womb and it is clock. It is systems. There's a little bit more feminine energy in the world, in nature, than it is masculine energy. And that's on purpose, because masculine energy is very powerful, but it's very destructive. Feminine energy can be destructive too, for sure, but it is not naturally destructive. It is destructive if it's not in balance with itself. But masculine energy, if left unchecked, it is very destructive. And so you need to harness that destructive energy and make it a productive tool for creation. And so they have to work together. It needs to be a little more feminine, and masculine is powerful and it can be used for good, but if left unchecked, it will consume. It will literally, if the sun, if there was no ecosystem, if there was no water system, if there was nothing to shield the earth from the sun, or there wasn't that space in between it, the sun would consume the whole earth, and we would all be on fire, and blah, 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 blah. If we didn't have all this water and all of this and all these systems and cycles, which is the moon cycle is it has different phases. It's it's a lot there. But if we didn't have all this motherly feminine energy in place, the sun would consume the earth, and that is what it is. So we need less men in charge and more women in charge in order to keep the harmony of balance of life going, because if not, then we get to where we are today, the patriarchy, which is men just consuming humans, not even just women, just consuming humans, babies, children, old people. God is referred to a he because masculinity is typically looked at as authoritative. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Which I don't know if I would call it because mothers are authoritative, but it's just men. Right. That's wrong. I don't know how to give words to why that's wrong. Masculinity is looked at as authoritative. It's not authoritative. It is authoritative, but it's very structured. Masculine energy is very structured. The sun is on the 24-hour moon cycle. Every day, 24 hours is the sun is going to rise in the east and set in the west. That is every day. But the moon, you got what is it? The first is if you start a new moon, and then you have the waxing gibbous and the waning. I don't know. Okay, wrong. But the moon cycles are different. They fluctuate depending on where the moon is. The new moon, there's the full moon, and then there's the waxing and the waning and the gibbuses and there's a lot of phases in between. They're different. And so I was just so the moon, the sun is very structured, and I think that can come off as authoritative if there's no flexibility or no dynamicness, no change. which is what men want. Men want control. They want even kill. They want the same. They want march. They want army. They want 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. While women are much more flexible. We are water. We will literally go with the flow. Like if you make us mad, you might get a tidal wave. You might get a monsoon. But like if you're good and we're copacetic, you'll get a beautiful ocean day on the beach. And then, and with the moon, you're going to have different phases of the moon at different times. And, it's going to affect the waves in a different way. Women are very dynamic and men are very structured. So I feel like authoritative can feel like the authority from a structure if you only put structure and you never allow flexibility, if you don't have them both. And that is what men are. They're just like, I want control, I want it to be this way, TikTok, and if it's not, then I'm gonna consume the whole world and blow everybody up. My dad just called me a heathen all the time, so I identify as a witch to provoke him. Nice. I love that, Lenny. I love that. I'm gonna start doing that too. Whenever my mom, because she calls me things, but again, my mom, little mental healthy issues there, a little undigested trauma, a little, she hasn't, again, because she's a diehard Christian. I'm telling you, Christianity causes mental health issues because you have this spiritual energy inside of you that is telling you, your intuition is telling you one thing, and then, the Bible will tell you another thing. And because there's a discongruence there, you have to literally fight yourself. You have to literally fight yourself so that you can fit into this religious box that they give you. And you have to, and that discongruence is like, it creates mental health issues. It creates this, like, I hate myself because I'm not the Bible. I hate myself because I'm not doing what they want me to do. I dislike myself because now I'm a sinner because I don't feel the way they told me to feel. Like, and that self-hatred, those negative thoughts, they will create depression. They will create anxiety. They will create all this negative energy towards that you internalize to yourself, and now your insides are unhappy. So anyways, my mom got mental health issues because she's a Christian, and that's why I feel like a lot of this one might be a reach, but here we go. That's why I feel like there's so much pedo and pedophiles in the Christian community. It's because there's so much I don't know. It's just like so much trauma. It's so much it's just so much self-hatred that goes into it. And it's it is from such a young age. I don't know. I just feel like when you have so much self-hatred in yourself, it's like, I don't know how to explain it there, but forget it. Forget I said anything. But I have this linkage in my mind between religion and the harm of children in that way. And I just think it is, I don't know what it is, but I gotta do some research, but there's something there. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks that, cause where there's smoke, there's fire. That's one of my mantras is, where there's smoke, there's fire. So if there is a high rate, cause there's there's gonna be a regular rate of criminal activity within the general population, but if you have a higher rate of something happening within a specific population, there is something there. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because it's a high control, but it's yes, it's a high control environment, but what is it about? I don't know, y'all. Someone tell me and will let me know. But there's something about religion and that high control, thought control environment that manifests pedophiles. I don't know how, I don't know what that correlation is, but it's there. It's literally there. We see it. We literally see it. Something is happening. It's like Hollywood and weird sex stuff happens in Hollywood. Schmecks stuff happens in Hollywood. It's just something there. There's something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's something there. We don't know what it is. I can't, grab it with my hands and my thoughts and my words, but they're it's there. I don't someone needs to study it, but no one's going to study it, because if you find that connection, then all the Christians in the world are going to they're gonna take you out. They're gonna take you out because it's too profitable. It's too powerful. There's too much control over the masses that religion has. So they'll never ever put out a study that shows you the link between high control religions or even just regular religions and PDF files. Like, they'll never do it. They're never going to do it because they won't even, this, small tangent aside, but I recently learned that women and men used to compete in some of the same Olympic sports for shooting was one of them, and the woman won the first one that a woman was in the shooting one, and so they said that women are no longer allowed to be in the Olympics in co-sports now, and then if they do the same sport, they change the measurements so that you can't compare them directly. And that happened across several sports. And that's because men are in power. And if men are in power and they have this control, again, the illusion of men being superior, it dies whenever you put them in a position where a woman is has the opportunity to show that she is the same level of competent. Of course, they're stronger, they're faster, like all the things that men use as their measurements of superiority. Okay, yeah. But whenever you actually put them head to head for things that women are my dog, hold on. Okay, doggy. But when we actually put women in a place where they can compare their talents in a more equal way, the fallacy that men are better. My husband's home. Darn it. Okay. That is it for today, folks. Today was a good day, and she manifested the man to use his muscles to work and live. Yes, amen. Let these men use their muscles. That is for sure what you should do. All right, thanks, Jenny. Bye, Gabri. It was fun talking to everybody. Till you next time. So I don't know. I don't have a regular schedule for these. I just do it whenever I got free time for my job, which I'm about to have a lot of free time. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next time. All right, bye.